Welcome to Math with Professor V, and by popular demand, here is the first video in my new series of the Day. So everyone seems to be enjoying Integral of the Day so much and requested that I branch out and do Series of the Day, and maybe later on we can play around with Differential Equation of the Day as well. I thought I'd kick things off with something nice, pretty fun, straightforward. So if you guys want to pause the video and try it on your own, the directions are just simply determine whether the infinite series converges or diverges. And we have the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of e to the n over n squared. If you need a recap of any of the tests for convergence, all the video lectures on those topics are linked in the description for this video. All right, I'm going to first start off by telling you what we can't do before I tell you what test is appropriate for this series. So perhaps you're looking and you see n squared in the denominator, which is fabulous, and then you're thinking of the sum n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n squared, which we know is a p series, and it converges because p is equal to 2, which is greater than 1. And that's not really helpful in this case because notice here we have e to the n in the numerator. Well, that's going to make the terms of this series larger. E to the n over n squared is greater than or equal to 1 over n squared. So using direct comparison test will not help me in this case. Why do I say that? Because in order to use direct comparison, the terms of our series that we're testing need to be smaller than those of a convergent series in order for us to say this converges as well. In fact, I'm not even certain this is going to converge because what do I know about exponential functions? They grow faster than any degree polynomial function long term. So I feel like this e to the n is actually going to make the terms get large. And so it doesn't seem likely that this sum will converge. So direct comparison is not going to work out well. Limit comparison, I'm not excited about either. You're going to end up with something inconclusive. So other options, you could try integral test, but if I rewrite this as a function of x and then I try to take the antiderivative, I'm not excited in the least about it. It looks like it's going to be painful. Which test have I not mentioned that is oh so fun? The ratio test. And usually we use ratio test, when we see factorials in our sum, but it's going to work out great right now. So let's go ahead, use the ratio test. And remember, when you're using the ratio test, you take the limit as n approaches infinity of the absolute value of a sub n plus 1 over a sub n. And who is a sub n? Those are the terms of our series. So a sub n would be e to the n over n squared. Okay, so let's see. We'll have the limit as n approaches infinity of the absolute value. A sub n plus 1 would be e to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 squared divided by a sub n, so divided by e to the n over n squared. Let's make this a wee bit longer. Okay. Looking through, nothing's negative, so we know n goes from 1 to infinity. I don't need to keep the absolute value bars. Let me rewrite everything. This is the limit. N approaches infinity. I have e to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 squared times n squared over e to the n. How are we doing? Okay, perfect. Now I want to break up e to the n plus 1 so I can cancel with the e to the n that's in the denominator over there. So let's rewrite this as the limit as n approaches infinity, e to the n times e to the first over n plus 1 squared times n squared over e to the n. And then hopefully now you can see, oh, this is just fabulous. E to the n will cancel out completely. And if you want, it's entirely up to you. You can take this e all the way outside of the limit. It's just a constant, and we're taking the limit as n approaches infinity, just so that we can focus on what's going on with the rest of the terms. So we have e times the limit as n approaches infinity of n squared over n plus 1 quantity squared. Now you could multiply out the denominator if you like, or you can just already divide top and bottom by n squared, the highest power of n from the denominator. So let's divide by n squared, divide by n squared. And then I have e times the limit as n approaches infinity. In the numerator, n squared divided by n squared is just 1. Over, now be careful here. I have n plus 1 squared over n squared. So really that's n plus 1 divided by n. All of that is squared, yes? If you need me to show you the breakdown. When you have n plus 1 squared over n squared, you can regroup everything into one set of parentheses like so. And this is helpful for problems down the road to know to do this. It's not too difficult if we needed to expand, right, and square n plus 1. But sometimes if this exponent's higher, oh my goodness, say it's a 5. Do you really want to sit there and multiply out n plus 1 to the 5th? I certainly don't. So the fact that we're able to bring in this n squared because these exponents match and group everything, and then now I'm going to simplify and take the limit. Believe me, it'll be life-saving for future problems. So this is e times the limit, n approaches infinity, 1 over, and then I can break this up. Notice this is n over n plus 1 over n squared, yes? So all of that is 1 plus 1 over n squared. And then at long last, n is approaching infinity, so 1 over n is going to approach 0. That means I just have e times 1 divided by 1 plus 0 squared is just 1. So the value of the limit is e. Now you ask yourself, what test did I use? I used the ratio test. And the ratio test requires us to compare this limit to 1. E is about 2.7, which is greater than 1. And so, by the ratio test, always cite what test you used. This tells me that the sum, n equals 1 to infinity, of e to the n over n squared diverges. I'm going to point out some key things that you need to make sure you include for a complete solution. When you take that limit, always show that you know the conclusion of the test. In this case, we're comparing to 1. Don't leave this off because different tests have different requirements. We'll do one in the next coming week that has to do with the integral test. With the integral test, we don't care what the value of the limit is, just so long as it's finite. So be careful. You want to show that you know the conclusion and the statements of all of the tests, especially before you apply them if there's conditions to check. Always cite what test you used, rewrite your series, and then summarize whether it converges or diverges. And later we can get into absolute convergence, conditional convergence, but let's just do some like foundational problems first, and then we can build up the spice level. How's that sound? So hopefully you guys got this one right. I thought it was pretty straightforward, but I wanted to walk you through the limit really nicely. And something else I do want to mention is that you're not allowed to use L'Hopital's rule when you're taking limits of terms from sequences or series, because we only can apply L'Hopital's rule on differentiable functions, and sequences and series are most certainly not differentiable. So what to do if you're totally stuck and you need L'Hopital's rule, we'll talk about that soon. I can't cover everything today, but if you want to go more in depth and you don't want to wait for me to upload more videos on this playlist, then obviously hop over to the Calculus 2 video lectures where I go through all things sequences and series. I even have entire videos dedicated to studying for your final exam just on that unit and whatnot. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you were able to solve it on your own. If you did something different, I'm curious. If you tried root test, that would also be problematic because then you're going to end up with, in the denominator, n raised to the 2 over n, which is an indeterminate form. So off to the side, you'd have to do L'Hopital's rule for a function, and it's just a bigger mess. So this really is the best way to go for this problem. But I'm curious to hear your feedback. Thanks to all of you who suggested that I start this new series of videos. I'm excited about it, so I hope you guys are too. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Math with Professor V. I love you all so much, and I'll be back sooner than later.